Magnificent demons of Japanese mythology. ONI. Hello everyone. Welcome to Mythology Journey. Today, I'm going to tell you about ONI, one of the most iconic and fearsome figures in Japanese mythology. These beings appear not only as terrifying ogres or demons, but also as complex entities in Japanese culture that carry a wide variety, even contradictory meanings, such as power, rage, revenge, transformation, and sometimes even comedy. Their story provides an important window for us to understand the richness and cultural depth of Japanese mythology. ONI have held an important place in Japanese folklore and art for centuries, and have become an essential part of Japanese culture. Their depictions make up a significant portion of Japanese art and literature. The stories of ONI reflect the values, beliefs, and fears of Japanese society. Therefore, understanding ONI will also be an important step in understanding Japanese culture. Although the exact origins of ONI are unknown, they are believed to have existed in Japanese mythology and folklore since very ancient times. Some sources even claim that the existence of ONI dates back to the earliest settlers of the Japanese islands. This shows just how deeply rooted and important ONI are in Japanese culture. They are most often depicted as superhuman creatures, gigantic in size, with red or blue skin, long horns, sharp teeth, and a ferocious appearance. This fearsome appearance emphasizes their supernatural powers and dangerous nature. They usually carry an iron club or sword in their hands. These weapons symbolize their strength and warrior-like qualities. Some ONI can also be depicted as having 1 or 3 eyes. These different numbers of eyes may represent their different characteristics and abilities. For example, while one-eyed ONI are believed to be more cunning and intelligent, 3-eyed ONI are believed to be stronger and more ferocious. ONI play a wide variety of complex roles in Japanese mythology and folklore. Although they are often depicted as malevolent, demonic beings, they can also assume a protective or vengeful role in some cases. This duality shows just how versatile and complex characters they are. While some ONI are depicted as guardians of hell, others live alone in the mountains or forests and harm humans. These different habitats and roles emphasize their supernatural powers and dangerous natures. One of the most well-known characteristics of ONI is their ability to deceive humans and play cruel tricks on them. Their cunning and intelligence make them formidable opponents. They also possess supernatural strength and resilience. This physical power causes them to be perceived as invincible and fearsome beings. However, not all ONI are malevolent. In some stories, there are also ONI who help or guide benevolent people. This shows that ONI are not just malevolent beings, but also have complex and contradictory characteristics. ONI symbolize a wide range of deep meanings in Japanese mythology and culture. They represent power, rage, revenge, darkness, chaos, and destruction. But they can also symbolize the dark sides of human nature, uncontrollable desires and passions. In these ways, ONI reflect the complexity and contradictions of the human inner world. However, ONI's symbolism is not limited to negative meanings. In some cases, they can also represent justice and order, taking on a protective or vengeful role. Especially in folk tales and legends, ONI who punish evil people or protect innocent people are frequently encountered. This shows that ONI can assume not only a destructive, but also a constructive role. This multifaceted symbolism of ONI shows how important and influential they are in Japanese culture. As beings that are both feared and respected, they reflect the values, beliefs, and fears of Japanese society. Understanding ONI will be an important step in understanding Japanese culture and human nature. Depictions of ONI frequently appear in Japanese art for centuries, especially in ukiyo-e woodblock prints, which became popular during the Edo period. And no theater, a traditional form of Japanese drama, ONI are vividly and impressively portrayed. In ukiyo-e prints, ONI are usually depicted with bold and dynamic brushstrokes, vibrant colors, and exaggerated expressions. These prints emphasize ONI's power, ferocity, and supernatural characteristics. In no theater, ONI masks are worn by actors to portray the ONI character. These masks are typically made of wood and reflect the frightening appearances of ONI. ONI masks are also used in festivals and religious ceremonies. These masks are used to ward off evil spirits or to entertain deities. The ONI theme is frequently explored not only in visual arts, but also in Japanese literature and folk tales. In these stories, ONI appears sometimes as malevolent beings, and sometimes as protective or vengeful spirits. The stories of Oni reflect the values, beliefs, and fears of Japanese society. Therefore, the depictions and stories of Oni are important tools for understanding Japanese culture. Oni continue to live on not only in Japanese mythology, but also in popular culture from mythology to the present day. Over the centuries, numerous references to Oni or their stories have been made in various ways in many films, TV series, anime, manga, video games, and books. For example, while some fantasy works feature evil creatures with traits similar to Oni, but under different names, Oni are depicted as powerful and formidable enemies in some action and adventure games, even in some science fiction works. The symbolic meanings and story of Oni have been used to represent malevolent beings in different galaxies or dimensions. This shows just how enduring and influential Oni are as a mythological figure, and how they have become ingrained in humanity's collective unconscious across different cultures and eras. These diverse reflections of Oni in popular culture are proof of just how universal and timeless their story and symbolism are. Their frightening appearances, powers, and supernatural abilities have always managed to impress artists and creators. Oni continue to live on not only in Japanese mythology, but also in popular culture from mythology to the present day. Over the centuries, numerous references to Oni or their stories have been made in various ways in many films, TV series, anime, manga, video games, and books. For example, while some fantasy works feature evil creatures with traits similar to Oni, but under different names, Oni are depicted as powerful and formidable enemies in some action and adventure games, even in some science fiction works. The symbolic meanings and story of Oni have been used to represent malevolent beings in different galaxies or dimensions. This shows just how enduring and influential Oni are as a mythological figure, and how they have become ingrained in humanity's collective unconscious across different cultures and eras. These diverse reflections of Oni in popular culture are proof of just how universal and timeless their story and symbolism are. Their frightening appearances, powers, and supernatural abilities have always managed to impress artists and creators. Oni continue to represent themes such as fear, power, rage, revenge, and chaos in the modern world. At the same time, they also reflect the richness and depth of Japanese culture and mythology. The story of Oni is just one of the riches that Japanese mythology offers us. Their character brings together power, rage, revenge, darkness, and chaos. Oni offer us an opportunity to reflect on important themes such as the complexity of human nature, struggling with our uncontrollable desires, and the balance between good and evil.